Have you ever listened to how some people testify? Their testimonies are almost narcissistic. Their testimonies are all about my faith, my belief, my this, my that. And sometimes testimonies have very little to do with God. And some people's testimonies completely eliminate the people that God used to help them. When Paul shared his testimony, he shows us a principle. People are a part of our testimony. Let me say that again. Great principle. There are people that God has used in our life, and those people are always a part of your testimony. Acts 22, beginning with verse 11. I was blinded by the intense light and had to be led by the hand to Damascus by my companions. A man named Ananias lived there. He was a godly man, deeply devoted to the law, and well regarded by all the Jews of Damascus. He came and stood beside me and said, Brother Saul, regain your sight. And that very moment I could see him. Then he told me, the God of our ancestors has chosen you to know his will and to see the righteous one and hear him speak. For you are to be his witness, telling everyone what you have seen and heard. What are you waiting for? Get up and be baptized. Have your sins washed away by calling on the name of the Lord. Now, did you hear how he included a man, another person, in his testimony? And whenever he gives his testimony, and this is decades after his salvation, he never forgets the man that God used in the early days of his spiritual life. He talks about the character of Ananias. He says, a godly man, deeply devoted to the law, well regarded by the Jews of Damascus. This was a good man. He said, let me tell you about the character of the man that helped me in the early days of my salvation. He talks about the faith of this man. He said, he came and stood beside me and declared, Brother Saul, receive your sight. He just spoke words of faith. And my eyesight came back. I was blind before that. I'd been blinded by that glory. And that man came and spoke words of faith. He gave a command of faith. And my eyesight came back. And he said, that man also had a message from me from the Lord. That man told me about my future. That man told me about what God was going to do in, with, and through my life and what purposes of my life would be. Now, I think it's fascinating how quickly people forget those that have helped them when they were small. Now, my father always taught me a lesson, and my grandfather taught me the same lesson. He said, Davy, always remember the people who help you on the way back, on the way up. Never forget the people who help you on the way up, because one day you'll be back on the way down and you'll meet those same people again. I've often thought of that when I read this passage. Paul never forgot someone who helped him when, he was coming to destroy him. Paul was coming to this city to destroy all the believers. And here was a man that helped him. And he never forgot the man that helped him. Decades later, that man is still a part of his testimony. I look in my own life. There are people that have helped me when no one else would help me. I still remember Truth just celebrated their 50th anniversary. And I was watching some of the stuff on Facebook, and, do I remember those faces? They've all got a little older and a little thicker. Of course, I remember some, but others I don't. But I still remember the little Methodist church in Fairhope, Alabama, when a young guy named Art Ortiz sang a song, It Is Well With My Soul, and God touched my heart. It took me quite a few months after that to get saved, but I've never forgotten Art, and I've never forgotten Roger. I've never forgotten how Roger would sing this song. Well done, thou good and faithful done. Well done, servant of the Lord. I would listen to that on an old vinyl record player, and they were cool in those days. That was before cassettes and VHS and 8-tracks and everything else. I'd listen to that song over and over. And to this day, I can hear that song in my head and my heart. It's the cry of my heart. I've never forgotten what Roger did for me. Never forgotten what Brother John did for us as a church when nobody else wanted to help us. And 28 years ago, Brother John came into our lives. Never eliminate people who helped you from your testimonies. remember, include the people that God used to help you in your testimonies.